Welcome to a new type of video where I'm basically going to be asking ChatGPT to play Dungeons and Dragons with me. ChatGPT is going to be the GM and I will be the player. And it's definitely not going to be according to the official rules. It will be a little bit different, but I think it can still make for an interesting story. So follow along if you'd like to see how this works. So my starting prompt to ChatGPT is going to be, I would like to play Dungeons & Dragons with you as the GM. I will play as a human monk named Orion, who has just time traveled to a new place. I have no memory of how I did it, and I now need to find my place in this new world. In addition to the story, generate an image for each new place or building I visit in the story. We'll go ahead and click Start here. And now, ChatGPT answers with, Awesome. I'm hyped to be your GM. This sounds like it's going to be an epic journey. You've got a human monk named Orion who's suddenly time traveled to a strange new world with no memory of how it happened. Classic setup for mystery, exploration, and maybe a little bit of chaos. Let's set the stage. The world. Velmora. You awaken in a realm known as Velmora, a land where ancient magic and lost technologies intertwine. The skies shimmer with hues you've never seen before, and the land seems halfway between a dream and a memory. The people here whisper of shatter gates, portals that occasionally bring travelers from other times and worlds. Let's begin. Scene 1. Arrival in the Whispering Glade. The last thing you remember is a blinding white light and a gut-wrenching pull like being yanked through your own shadow. When your senses return, you're lying on a bed of moss in a tranquil forest clearing. Wind stirs the leaves above with a whisper that almost sounds like words. You hear a distant bell toll, and near the soft footsteps of someone approaching. The figure emerging through the brush is a cloaked young woman, eyes wide with cautious curiosity. She wears a leather satchel filled with the scrolls and dried herbs. Her voice is soft, almost melodic. You fell from the sky. Are you a seeker? She peers closer, studying your robes and bare feet. Or are you another one pulled through the shatter gate? She glances over her shoulders nervously. We should not linger here. The Glade whispers truths not meant for ears. I think I'm going to go ahead and ask who she is and where you are. The woman hesitates for a moment and then offers a faint smile. My name is Elira. I'm a wayfinder, a guide of sorts. She motions around at the glade as if trying to make sense of it even for herself. You're in the Whispering Glade, at the edge of Valewood. This forest marks the border between the kingdom of Vel Tyrell and the ruins of the old world. It's not a place people usually arrive in. They leave from here when they're brave or foolish enough. Her eyes search yours, as though she's trying to gauge something deeper than just your words. If you're truly come through the Shattergate, then you're a part of something bigger than you know, and you may not be the only one. She pauses. There's a village not far from here, Brindlewatch. They've seen others like you. If you're seeking answers, then that's the place to start. She extends a hand. Come with me, Orion. I'll take you there. And then ChatGPT says, would you like to follow Elira to Brindlewatch or ask her more about the Shattergate or others like you? Try to remember how you got here, a wisdom saving throw, or something else. I think I'm going to take the opportunity to try to do a wisdom saving throw just to see how ChatGPT is going to handle like dice throw. Try to remember how you got here. Wisdom saving throw. All right. Let's roll for that wisdom saving throw. Rolling. Orion's wisdom save 15, modifier +2, and I get a 17. You close your eyes as Elira waits, her hands still outstretched. The rustle of leaves fades into distant hum, a sound like thunder underwater. You breathe deeply, focus inward, and suddenly, flash. A memory flickers. You're in a chamber made of polished obsidian, its surface engraved with spiraling runes that pulse with golden light. There's a circle beneath your feet, an ancient sigil, and standing just outside of it, a hooded figure with glowing green eyes. Their voice echoes in your mind. Time is not a line. It's a sea. Dive deep or be pulled under. And then, a searing pain behind your eyes, and the memory slips away like mist between your fingers. You nod to Illyra, keeping the memory close. There's something about it, fragile, important. Best not to speak it aloud just yet. She gives you a knowing look, but doesn't press further. Together, you move through the glade, the forest deepening as the light shifts into hues of blue and violet. Strange birds call from high in the canopy, and once you catch the glint of something metallic watching from the trees. But it vanishes when you turn. After a quiet hour of walking, the trees begin to thin, and you reach the edge of a hill. Below lies a small village cradled in a misty valley. Its rooftops are dark slate, chimneys puffing smoke into the cool air. Wooden fences and moss-covered stones give the place an ancient feel, but it's alive. Figures move through the market square, and a bell rings out from a stone tower in the center. Illyra pauses beside you. Brindlewatch, stay close and try not to mention you came through the Shattergate. Not everyone welcomes outsiders. You and Illyra descend the hill and follow a narrow cobblestone path into Brindlewatch. As you pass the old stone gate, half covered in ivy, you feel a subtle pressure in the air, like stepping through a curtain of stillness. The townsfolk glance at you, some with curiosity, others with a touch of suspicion. You spot a baker pulling loaves from a brick oven, a boy chasing a goat through the square, and a weathered man smoking a pipe under the clock tower. Illyra leans in as you walk. They're not unkind, just cautious. Ever since the last outsider came through. She doesn't elaborate, instead guiding you towards a modest building with a wooden sign swinging gently in the wind. It reads, The Drowsy Mare, Inn and Ale. Inside, its warm amber light from lanterns flickers across worn wooden beams. A stocky woman with graying braids looks up from behind the counter. Illyra, and this one's new. Illyra nods. He needs a room, and some quiet. The innkeeper studies you, and then jerks her head towards the stairs. Room's yours, if you cause no trouble. You wait until you and Illyra are seated at a small corner table. A mug of something hot and herbal rests in front of you, steam curling into the lamplight. You speak low. You mention another outsider, someone who came through before me. What happened to them? Illyra's expression shifts. Her usual calm darkens. She leans forward, fingers wrapped tightly around her own mug. His name was Warwick. He arrived 2 seasons ago through a gate that opened near Wormspire Cliffs. Said she remembered fire, a collapsing city, and a voice that told him to break the wheel. She shakes her head slightly. He was strong, skilled, a warrior, I think, but impatient. He wanted answers, and he didn't care who got hurt in the search. A pause, her voice drops. One night, he vanished, just gone, not a trace. But not before strange things began happening. Lights in the forest, dreams shared by the townsfolk. Some say the gate took him back, others say it never really closed. She looks you in the eyes. You're not like him, I can tell, but if you follow his trail, you'll need to be careful. He was last seen near the ruins of Caer Thorn. I ask Illyra to tell me more about Caer Thorn. Illyra exhales slowly. She's bracing herself, just thinking about it. Caer Thorn. It was once a fortress, a stronghold built during the final days of the Aetherian Wars, when magic began breaking the world instead of saving it. She traces a finger across a knot in the wood of the table, as if seeing something only she remembers. Now its ruins, half sunken into the earth, twisted by war, the wilds, and whatever was left behind. Some say time bends near it, otherwise swear it breathes. You catch a flicker of fear in her eyes. Merrick thought there were answers buried there, something tied to the gates, maybe even a way home. He wasn't the first to think that, but no one who's gone looking ever came back quite right. She leans in slightly, her voice almost a whisper now. If you go, you'll need more than fists and focus. You'll need allies, tools, a way to protect your mind. She stands, finishing her drink. Rest tonight. I'll help you gather what you need, but once you step toward Carethorn, the world won't let you walk away unchanged. She stands, finishing her drink. Rest tonight. I'll help you gather what you need, but once you step towards Carethorn, the world won't let you walk away unchanged. You nod to Lyra, quietly rising from the table. The weight of the day, of strange memories, new names, and shifting fates, settles into your bones like mist. She watches you go, offering only a small, solemn nod. Upstairs, your room is simple. A bed of straw-stuffed linens, a small wash basin, and a single window overlooking the village square, now quiet under a blanket of fog. You sit cross-legged on the floor, the way you've done 1,000 times before, in temples you no longer remember. You breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Stillness. For a moment, the silence deepens, and you feel something stir in the back of your mind. A pulse, a presence, a thread, faint, tugging, as if someone or something knows you're here now. You sleep. So, I'm taking a long rest now. HP and key points have been restored. Strange dreams flicker just beyond reach, but nothing takes shape. Not yet. Morning comes, and Brindlewatch wakens with it. Illyria is waiting downstairs with a leather-bound satchel, a map, and a quiet look of resolve. Ready to see what Warwick left behind? You meet Illyria's gaze as you adjust your robes and tighten the wrappings on your hands. Before we go, tell me more about what we'll face on the way, and at Carethorn. She exhales through her nose and opens the map across a nearby table. Her fingers trace a faint, winding trail that leads northeast, out of Brindlewatch, past the Valewood, and into a darker, unmarked region. The path to Carethorn crosses Wormshade Hollow, old forest. Twisted things live there now. Creatures born from what the mages left behind. Echo beasts, shadows that mimic voice and form. She taps a faded symbol on the map. 3 concentric circles carved into the hills. Once we pass that, it's the Thorn Reach. Cracked land, steep ridges, and old magic soaked into the soil. Carethorn itself rests at the edge of a sinkhole. The ruins rise above it, but part of the fortress has fallen into the earth, into places untouched for centuries. Her eyes narrow. If what Warwick sought lies within those ruins, we'll have to enter them, and if time really does warp there, as some say, we may come back changed, or not come back at all. She rolls up the map and tucks it into your pack. If you want to turn back, this is your last moment to say so. I would like to ask Illyria where we might find allies in town, and if there's some place we should stop by to get supplies. Illyria offers the ghost of a smile, like she was hoping you'd ask that. Smart. Carethorn doesn't yield to lone wanderers. Warwick proved that. She unrolls the map again, but this time her fingers tap specific spots marked with Brindlewatch. Potential allies and supplies in town. We have the Black Anvil Forge, weapons and reinforced gear. Run by a dwarf named Torin Blackhand. Gruff as stone, but fair. He forges gear laced with null steel. Helps against wild magic warps. He might even have something older, if you're persuasive. Next, we have the Hollow Shade Chapel. Healing and wards. Sister Emile watches over the chapel. She doesn't follow the old gods or the new, just the light. She can offer blessings, healing salves, and protection glyphs. Next, we have the Rusted Lantern, Tavern and Rumors. If anyone in Brindlewatch seen something they shouldn't have, they talked about it over an ale at the Lantern. There's a half-elf named Merrick who plays cards and sees too much. He might know something about Merrick's last days. Next we have the Warden's Lodge, potential allies. A few rangers and scouts still answer to the old code. 1 or 2 of them owe me favors. A young warden named Kessa might join us. If you can convince her there's a cause worth risking. Illyria looks up at you. We got half a day before the fog rises in the hollow. Use it well. I'll meet you by the eastern gate when you're ready. To begin with, I'm going to drop by the tavern for information. You head down the main cobbled path towards a squat building with a crooked chimney and a faded lantern, swinging on a rusted iron hook. The sign above reads, "The Rusted Lantern, where secrets drown." The scent of old ale, firewood, and wet wool greets you as you step inside. It's dimly lit, shadows pooling in the corners, except near the hearth, where a low fire crackles. A few locals sit nursing drinks. Dice clack at a nearby table. You feel the shift in attention when you enter, the hush that always follows a stranger in a quiet town. Behind the bar, a weathered barkeep nods but says nothing. Your eyes, however, lock onto a half-elf slouched in the far corner, playing cards against no one in particular. He doesn't look up, but speaks as if he's been expecting you. You walk like someone chasing ghosts. He flips a card. The Tower. Orion, was it? I heard Illyria found you in the Glade. Can't imagine that was pleasant. He finally glances at you, pale green eyes glinting. Name's Merrick. I drink too much and forget too little. What is it you're hoping to find, or who? You step closer to Merrick's table, his scattered cards like fractured windows into a world just slightly tilted. You meet his gaze and quiet intent. What do you know about Warwick? He leans back in his chair, tipping it onto two legs. The corner of his mouth quirks. Not quite a smile, more like a dare. Warwick. Now, there's a fire worth burning for. Came in like thunder, sword on his back, storm in his eyes, asked too many questions. Listened to too few answers. He flips another card. The Fool. He thought this world was a puzzle, one he could break apart and solve. Thought the Shattergates were calling him, like they chose him. Merrick finally takes a drink, then continues, voice lower now. He left Brindlewatch on the first blood moon, said he was headed for Caer Thorn, but not alone. He traveled with a woman, Kalia. Sharp tongue, sharper mind. Some say she was a mage or a seer. Others say she came through a gate too, just earlier. He taps the table thoughtfully. They argued before they left. She wanted to wait. He couldn't stand still. She never came back. Another pause. He looks at you like he's weighing something heavy. There's a chance she's still out there. If you find Caer Thorn, maybe you'll find both of them. He flicks a final card towards you. The Hanged Man. But some truths, monk, are meant to be found standing upright. You lean forward, your voice calm but firm beneath the tavern's low murmur. Are there more like me, other travelers? Pulled through the gates. Merrick's easy posture tightens slightly. For the first time, his smile fades. Not from surprise, but recognition. He looks down at the cards, fingers idly brushing the edge of the Hanged Man. You're not the first, and you won't be the last. He doesn't say it with mystery or awe, just certainty. Most don't last long. The pull of this place eats them from the inside out. Some lose their minds. Others forget that they were ever from somewhere else. Merrick looks back at you now, his voice low and serious. There are whispers of one, still hiding here. Keeps to the shadows. Ghost by no name, appears in dreams sometimes. People say they've seen him near the edge of town, by the old windmill ruins, just before dawn. He drains the last of his drink. Illyria won't talk about it, but I think she knows more than she says. She always does. Then, with a lopsided smirk, he adds, You want to chase shadows, monk? Brindlewatch has plenty, but be careful. Some of them stare back. I will go investigate the old windmill ruins. You thank Merrick with a nod and step away from the table. He doesn't try to stop you, just chuckles softly and goes back to his cards. Outside, Brindlewatch is cloaked in an early morning fog, the sky pale with the promise of a rising sun. You follow a narrow dirt path past the edge of the village, where the wild begins to reclaim the land. The houses thin out, the birds are quiet here. Eventually you see it, a crumbling stone windmill, half swallowed by the ivy and brambles. Its wooden blades long fallen and rotten. The door hangs open on a single hinge, creaking ever so gently. The air around it hums, like the distant memory trying to take form. You approach slowly, your senses sharp. Inside, the windmill is cold and still. Dust dances in the shafts of silver light. Something about the place feels bent, like time is pooling here, thick and slow. Symbols are etched into the stone floor, worn by weather and footsteps. Then you see it. A figure stands near the far wall, cloaked in a tattered gray robe. You didn't hear them enter. You didn't see them appear. They speak without turning. You are the monk, the one who still remembers falling. The voice is layered, male and female, young and old. The wheel turns again, but this time it may break. You take a careful step forward, your voice steady despite the weight of presence before you. Did you come through the Shattergate like me? The figure tilts their head slightly, but still doesn't face you. Once, yes, though time has worn that truth thin. They lift a hand and you feel a strange sensation in your chest, like a heartbeat that doesn't belong to you, echoing from somewhere deeper. Their voice becomes quieter, more intimate, like a whisper spoken through a dream. The gates do not open by chance, they call. Each traveler's chosen, not for who they are, but for what they might break or heal. Now they turn, the hood falls away, but what you see is not one face, it's many, shifting like light on water, a young boy, a scarred woman, a man with eyes like stars, an old crone with cracked lips. Each face flickers in and out as though the figure is caught between selves. I was once like you. I am you, or I might have been, had I made a different choice. They take a step closer. The air bends around them. Carethorn is the wound. You are the needle, but thread alone cannot close what was never meant to heal. They press something into your hand, a small glass shard, cool to the touch and glowing faintly with a golden vein, like starlight caught in crystal. You'll know when to use it, or you won't. Then in a blink, they're gone. The windmill is empty. You have received the item, Mysterious Glass Shard? ? The item has unknown function and resonates faintly with time-altered spaces. You slip the glowing shard into a hidden fold in your robe, still feeling its quiet hum like a heartbeat against your side. With the windmill behind you and dawn breaking across Brindlewatch, you turn toward the northern rise, where the old banners of the Warden's Lodge flutter in the breeze, faded green and silver marked with the sigil of an arrow through an open eye. The lodge is built like a fortress meant to be forgotten. Stone walls, a low roof, and the smell of pine and old steel in the air. Outside, training dummies lean against a tree, worn from years of use. A small stable houses 2 shaggy riding elk, their breath fogging the morning air. Inside, a few figures sit sharpening blades or mending leather, but one figure stands apart, tall, cloaked in deep forest green, arms crossed as she watches 2 younger scouts spar. She turns to you as you enter. Kessa. Her gaze is sharp, amber eyes beneath a rough-cut fringe of dark hair. A long spear rests on her back, and a hunting knife at her hip. You're the monk. She doesn't ask. She knows. Illyra told me you'd come. Said you might be looking for someone foolish enough to follow you into the old bones of Carethorn. She sizes you up, not rudely, but like she's deciding whether you'd survive past the tree line. So tell me, Orion, why should I risk my skin following a stranger into a place even the dead don't stay buried? To recruit Kessa, how will you respond? Appeal to her duty. You swore to protect this land. Whatever is in Carethorn is already leaking out. I could be honest. I don't know what's waiting there, but I know I can't face it alone. Offer something in trade, perhaps? I have something strange, maybe valuable to you. Perhaps the shard could be something she's interested in. I think I'm going to try to go for her duty. Yeah, you swore to protect this land. Whatever's in Carethorn is already leaking out. Kessa's eyes narrow just slightly at your words, but she doesn't interrupt. You step forward, voice calm but firm, your stance as grounded as your training demands. You swore to protect this land. Whatever's in Kaer Thorn, it's not staying there. Dreams, whisper, twisted beasts, they are the ripples. The wound is open, and it's bleeding into the world. Silence stretches. The sparring behind her slows, then stops. Even the elk outside seems to pause. Kessa studies you. Not for drama, not for show, but for truth. Then she exhales through her nose. I have seen things, half-shadow things, at the tree line. Tracks that loop back on themselves, a stag with no eyes, walking. She nods once. All right, monk. You've got one spear at your back. If you fall, I'll drag your body out with mine. If I fall, I expect the same. She grabs her pack, already prepared. You get the sense that she's been waiting for this. Let's see what Kaer Thorn remembers. Kessa the Warden has now joined your party. She's a spear-wielding survivalist and archer. Her traits are stealthy, fiercely loyal, and doesn't tolerate fools. And she's special because she can sense magical disturbances and track through time-warped terrain. The wind is picking up as you and Kessa leave the Warden's lodge, the scent of pine giving way to something older, earth-soaked, in memory. You pass through Brindlewatch's narrow paths for the last time, villagers eyeing your small band with quiet curiosity. Some murmur a prayer, others simply turn away. At the eastern gate, Illyria waits. She's dressed in a lighter traveling cloak now, her satchel strapped tight across her chest, a curved dagger at her hip. When she sees Kessa beside you, she raises a brow, but there's approval in her eyes. I didn't think you'd talk her into it. Kessa just snorts. Didn't think you'd still be alive. Illyria grins, then looks at you. The path through Valewood is dangerous, but it's nothing compared to what waits in Thorn's Reach. Once we pass the Wormshade Hollow, there's no turning back. She unslings the map one final time, tapping a point circled in the dark ink. Kaer Thorn, 1 day's march. If the Hollow doesn't try to mislead us. She looks at you one last time. You ready, Orion? You step beyond the village gates, and the fog begins to rise. And that's where we're going to end the story for this video. If you enjoyed this, and if you want to continue the story, please do let me know in the comments down below. Please do also let me know what you think Orion should do or focus on. I will try to include it in the next video if enough of you are interested. Thank you so much for watching and or listening, and if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more of my content. See ya.